It's time for Show Me the Franchise.
With Thomas and Frederick. With Thomas and Frederick.
It's time for Show Me the Franchise.
With Thomas and Frederick. With Thomas and Frederick.
Welcome to Show Me the Franchise, the podcast that talks about franchises of all shapes, sizes, backgrounds, genres, and types. I'm one of your hosts, Tom Stadler, here as usual with Queen Latifah. I can't believe it.
Oh.
Mr. Fred Dakin.
I didn't catch where you're going with that first, but then I liked it in the end. Maybe that will come up. Who knows?
Maybe it will. Maybe it will. That was like my favorite moment, though, from the Golden Globes.
Yeah, I love a little Stephen Graham running around being joyful.
Yeah. He's been around for a while now, too, I feel like. Kind of sneaking up and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I knew him from like Lock, Stock.
Oh, yeah.
No. Is he in Lock, Stock or Snatch? Snatch is what I meant.
He's in some kind of Guy Ritchie movie.
I don't think he's in Lock, Stock, but he's in Snatch for sure.
I'll look that up as we're kind of going through this, but I think I knew him first from Boardwalk Empire. Did you ever watch that?
I've never finished it, but I definitely watched it. I think he's really good in The Irishman.
Oh, yeah.
Him and Al Pacino arguing about whether you can be 15 minutes late or 30 minutes late.
Yeah.
I just love it. That's
It's a good one. He is in Snatch.
That's what I figured, because he seems maybe like a little younger than the rest of those guys who are in Lock, Stock. Not by much, but like a little younger.
And he's a little more intelligible than some other people. I mean, I don't know. Even Vinnie Jones somehow comes off more intelligible than most of the guys in Lock, Stock. But Fred, we're kind of celebrating a special occasion here because up until this year, the TV episode has been a Patreon only episode, trying to get people behind the paywall. But this year, we're giving a gift to our listeners.
Yeah, that was our plan the whole time, was to have a nice gift for our listeners and introduce them to Patreon content.
Yeah. So if you have not yet signed up for the Patreon, just know you can get more episodes like this. But this one is built specifically for the main feed, but yet still a little bit of a pivot from our main feed episodes. Because we won't be doing all the same format. We're doing a little bit more of what would you even call this? Just like a award ceremony of sorts?
Yeah, like a 5. I don't want to say top. I want the TOP word because I don't want to have to rank these.
Yeah. Oh, so you're just going to go.
I mean, if you want to rank them, I can do it off the dome, but that was the hardest part. I got a top 5 easy. I have plenty of follow-ups, but this is happening in real time. If you want that rank, we can do that rank.
So I guess I didn't really finalize a ranking, so I'm actually okay. I think I have my 5. But I am going to maybe pivot depending on how this conversation goes.
I also need the caveat of I'm usually a TV waiter. There's definitely stuff I watched in real time this year, but I am like, I'll let seasons build up before I even get into something.
Oh, sure.
And definitely whole seasons. There's a few shows that I think would have been on my list, but I didn't finish, and I decided only things that I completed. Ooh. Even if I got like deep into it, and I have a good feeling about how I feel about it, I wanted to kind of also keep it a little different from yours, although I know we'll have overlap.
Oh, yeah. I think we will for sure. But I am also reminding us that we have the Night Country rule. That's what I'm calling this. And last year we established this. Actually, it might even have been the Fargo rule originally.
Yeah, because Night Country did start in January.
I think.
But I think I just maybe miscalculated and really wanted it.
My feeling, though, is like, or I guess this is what we've decided up until now, and I think we should stand by this, is like, if a show has started before we do the episode, kind of like the Oscars, that gets looped into our awards, like, or our end of year look back.
So it's not a sci-fi show.
Oh.
I'm just being mean because I know why you want this rule played out already.
Really?
I think.
We'll see what you have to say.
Actually, and I don't even know if this show, I think it started pre-holiday, pre-end of year, and then finished. But I thought it finished before the end of the year, but I could be wrong.
I mean, basically, I think, though, when we first did this, Fargo season 5 had not yet completed. And we both wanted to talk about it. And we were like, we're going to allow this in our rankings, or our end of year list, despite it not being done yet. So
Then what happened with Night Country?
I think it started like late December or early January, but it was still going as we were talking about it too. And we were both like, but this is a great vibe.
Mm-hmm.
It might have finished though by the time we talked because we did it late last year.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. But anyway, January shows I think are on the table. Is what I'm
Okay.
saying. And I've only bring that up because there was one that I was considering and I'm not yet settled on whether I'm going to have it in there or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't like it if it's one. I like the show, but I don't know if I like you using it, but that's fine.
Well, let's talk about it.
We'll see.
All right. Would you like the honors of going first?
Sure. I'll take the first one.
Okay, so we're going to talk about our 5 favorite shows from 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Please lead us off.
Let's just kick off with a big one that
Okay.
everyone's gonna want to talk about.
Sure.
And I even forgot that it happened last year. I knew that it happened, but I
Mhm.
forgot it was last year. I do every so often enjoy a Star Wars.
Oh,
So I think I'm gonna put Andor on my list.
nice.
The season 2 was like a nice 12 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I liked how they released them in these like 4-part chunks, kind of like 4 episodes apiece. It kind of was an interesting intersection with what's going on in the real world.
Yep.
And it's just nice to have Star Wars that feels grown up, because I think that is the trick of Star Wars, is you can kind of have it all the different genres. And we were getting a lot of kind of more Clone Wars-y stuff, which I'm glad people have that, and I love that for them, but it's never been like my thing.
Yeah.
So having Andor was I liked having a tactile Star Wars.
Yeah. Bureaucracy, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I can't remember who was talking about this recently, but they're like, we need more bureaucracy in TV shows because it's so prevalent in the real world right now of how
Mhm.
much like bullshit falls downhill, and that's what kind of is the inciting events for so much of this stuff. That it's like, why not? And I agree with you though too. I'm like, everything's been so Jedi heavy with Star Wars
Mm-hmm.
forever, and it's like, but the coolest character, arguably from first few movies, is Han Solo. Like, and all he does is fucking shoot guns and trick people, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, so
Yeah, and I was gonna say that I like that it doesn't look like it uses the volume all the time, even though I'm sure there's some volume use in making that show. It doesn't look like it. Whereas when I watch Ahsoka, when I watch even the show that I liked that what was the one that all the haters didn't like?
Oh, the
but then was the
Acolyte?
most. I liked the Acolyte story, but I still thought it looked very volumey, and I didn't like that.
sure, okay,
That kind of all in one place look of these Star Wars shows is what I don't like.
mm-hmm.
And Andor didn't really have that. It looked like more of the movie.
Yeah, more like Rogue One, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's. I don't know. I was debating if I was going to put this on my list or not. So I'm like, do we just talk it to death or do we not? But I'm revisiting my choices here. There's one other show that I'm very much debating whether we should talk about it, but it's a great show.
Yeah, and also, like you can be like in your top whatever, and it can open up another discussion if you do have another thing that you're thinking of being in that spot. I think everyone knows you liked Andor, and that's why I kind of half-heartedly just wanted to get out of the way, because it's kind of like it had been talked about, and it is good, and I like it. I like the parallels to real world. I love the French Revolution parallels. I love everything about that. I love that it actually has character study in it.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of villain of the piece that's a half villain kind of, in his like relationship with his mom and how that like plays into his everyday life.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that isn't in the other shows.
No, great speeches too in Andor.
Mhm.
And I mean, you got Stellan Skarsgård just doing some work. I love watching my guy just kind of.
And I don't know, is that post-stroke Stellan? Because I know he's like still acting, and I think like some of his newer stuff coming out now, he he's doing post-stroke, which is kind of amazing.
No, I don't know. It might have been pre-stroke, but when did he have that? Was it?
I'm not exactly sure, but it was like not recent, but like within the last 5 years.
I think it might be post then, but
Mhm.
either way, he was doing
Yeah,
good stuff.
it's always good.
Um, yeah, no, for the sake of mixing things up, Andor is maybe like the just missed my list
Hmm.
because there was another show that I also thought did some interesting things with its season 2 that I wanted to discuss. And that would be Severance season 2, which also was like that came out last year. Pretty crazy. But I thought, did you watch all of Severance season
I
2?
did not finish season 2. I plan to maybe that's gonna be like now at this point I'm gonna have to go back and do everything
Oh yeah.
because I definitely just fell off for no reason than just stuff going on, and that's a show that's hard to like pick up
Yeah.
back in. But I enjoyed it.
Wasn't season 1 then you call that like a fever dream in the way you watched it?
A bit, yeah. Also, it reminds me a lot of that Westworld feeling where you constantly have that like probing of what's real and what's not,
Yeah,
and that is exhausting.
sure.
I love the show, or at least the first season, but I do find that kind of television where you kind of like racking onto every second. I think at that point in my time, my life, I was like not in the zone, so I wanted
Yeah.
to wait till I was in the zone. But
Right.
why don't you talk a little more about it?
But yeah, I think it makes sense to watch it in one big chunk, which I mean, you watch it week to week. That's my preferred way to watch a show. I do love the way they kind of chunk released Andor because I did feel like you gave people the idea of like, okay, you can catch up. Now here's the next part. Now here's the next part. I don't love a full series drop. And there's a couple on my list that actually, no, one on the list did it that way, but we'll get to that. But I thought Severance season 2, it was a little more choppy water than season 1, which I thought was a little tighter because you were really like in deep with the mystery. But then I think wherever it was kind of choppy along the way, it really stuck the landing and ended on a place where you were like, oh shit, where are we gonna go from here? Because now it seems like all the cards are on the table. Everything's gonna just kind of go upended. Not to give away too much because obviously I want you to enjoy it, but I think you get enough of these interesting like explorations of who these people are outside of the office just as much as you do inside the office, which first season you kind of there's a reason why you don't know who everybody is necessarily outside of the office. So kind of getting to see more than just Adam Scott outside makes a lot more interesting content here, and I think you have a more interesting storytelling. And I don't know, I really felt like it was a show. If it's a show that I drop my phone for, and like you're not reading anything and you're like looking around, and you're actually just focused on what's happening, then I'm like, okay, this has me. Like it's unconscious where you're just suddenly like, okay, and you start leaning in, and that's what I feel like this show does so well. Like beyond the mysteries, I just think the writing's really interesting. I think Ben Stiller has an interesting take. So that's my thoughts on Severance. Very excited for season 3.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if that's been renewed. I assumed it was.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Right. That's a good number 2.
Yeah, yeah.
So far that is a Disney Plus show.
Mm-hmm.
And what is that? Is that
Apple TV
Apple
Plus.
TV?
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to keep track of these different streamers.
Yeah, maybe we could do a count of which streamer has the most. But let's go on to your number 2 pick.
I'm gonna pick for my number 2, The Rehearsal season 2. Yeah. I know that can be a bit of acquired taste. The whole Nathan for You thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I really enjoyed season 2 about pilots and how they talk to one another, and how he's kind of doing these small experiments, making comedy with it, but also like there is a bit of questioning about things that are going on now with like planes and pilots and all this. And I think to create a comedy show that's asking questions from a, like kind of a different angle into that thing, like what's causing these sort of accidents while also being extremely entertaining, I thought was just great TV.
Yeah.
it gave me the Ali G feels, which I miss, or just like Sacha Baron Cohen, where like there's a point being made, there's humor, there's cringe, but it all kind of is in service of something, which I feel like Nathan, I always want to call him Nathan Fillion, but that's not his name. I'm just gonna
Nathan
keep.
Fillion,
I'll just call him Nathan for you. I feel that's not always present in his humor, but now this kind of felt like locked in with like a subject matter and a point that was trying to be made, and I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it.
Well, it was certainly like exploration of something that felt more like meta commentary, because the first season is also just like so fourth wall breaking. You almost feel like lost in it, like especially the episode when he's like has somebody go up and teach the class who's trying to be him or whatever.
Mhm.
Because the whole idea of like rehearsing is very fascinating. So the idea that he was like, I'm going to get into pilot mode to the point
Mhm.
where he goes and flies a plane is
Mhm.
spoiler alert. But I mean, everything should be a spoiler alert, I think, on this.
Yeah, and also just like the kind of realizations with like autism that are in that show are
Yeah.
kind of like fascinating. I'm sure he's playing into it a bit, but the moment where he's like getting his own quiz revealed about it, and then it's kind of like met with that people who have autism watch his show, and the idea of rehearsing is like a big concept.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that was a brain seed when he first started the show, I don't know, or if that was naturally found. Either way, I think it's asking interesting questions and finding interesting things how a documentary should.
Yeah.
So it's functioning in both ways. Whereas like some of his previous stuff, like I said before, didn't really have that. And I'm enjoying watching it. And I didn't find it as like cringe as it could be.
Yeah. I mean, I think what you're calling out though too that's just so interesting about the show is you really don't know how much is written and how much is just like a revelation as they're like just going through this. And I think he is asking a lot of interesting questions. Like it's an acquired taste. I enjoyed it. Like I don't know that it quite made my top 5, but because I kind of forgot that it was even last year. Again, I think we can even talk about it now too. Like last year was a pretty packed year for good shows. Like a lot of stuff came out, a lot of interesting things came about. But yeah, I mean, I'm here for another the rehearsal season if he's up for it, but I don't know if that's in the cards or not.
Yeah, well, we will see. All right. I look forward to whatever he does, even if it's not the rehearsal. I'm sure he'll have some. If it's not the rehearsal, it'll be something else more interesting.
Well, you even made the comparison to like Sasha Baron Cohen, right? It's like at the very least he could be just doing something that's kind of like, okay, you did Borat, now you're gonna do Ali G, and then you're gonna do what was the other one, Bruno?
Bruno, he also had like a really good, like super scathing critical show on Showtime
Oh yeah,
where he was doing characters. The character, it was not as funny, but it was more like enlightening about certain like politics. I think now it'd probably seem quaint, but at the time watching it, it was crazy seeing all these different politicians being caught in these moments that he puts them in, and I do kind of miss that.
yeah. Well, I mean, you look at where things have gone. Yeah, I think he was just peeling back the layer of ugliness that was in
Mm-hmm.
politics before we really have now gotten the full blast of all these different terrible people that are in power. Yeah, no, very good pick. I'm gonna crack the seal for my next pick, I think, because this one was a very late entry. It was
That's
one
the HBO Max.
yes, HBO. So we have an HBO, an Apple, and a Disney. This next one's gonna come from Netflix for me. So we're gonna have our first entry on the board. And we already referenced it up top. It's Adolescence.
Mm.
I wasn't sure what to think about this show after what I had heard and what I had seen about it. And I was like, is this just going to be a really tough hang? But what I wasn't prepared for when I finally did get to watch, and I watched it all in one night. I think I told you that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was not prepared for how well made the show was. Like everyone's like, oh, the single takes, the one takes, but the way that they position so many of the people, the way the camera focuses on some of the faces of the people involved, and like it's their acting that tells you as much about the story as anything, because it's like up until that point, you almost feel like a fly on the wall watching this whole like situation unfold with this kid, and you're like, and it's just so brilliant how it takes you along for the ride. And it's like you feel like a film nerd when you're like, oh, look at the way that they've panned the camera, and now they're pulling in on. But then it feels like, yeah, you're just constantly taken from place to place to place. And was blown away. And then especially I think it's like the third episode where he's having the one-on-one with like the independent counselor who is kind of like evaluating the kid. I was just like, oh man, this is some next level shit. This is starting to get really like disturbing how not unusual it would seem for a situation like this to like even occur, despite how horrible it is, right?
Yep. Um, well, I'll just go ahead and say that was my number 3 too. So we
Oh
kind of
man.
just, yeah, this I watched it in one. I think everyone watched it in one go because it's not that it's 3 episodes, right? 60 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
And they are, like you said, oneers. It feels like theater, so it kind of just happens. So it goes by very quick. I really liked it, and I know we've talked about him at the top. Was also just like I've always been a Stephen Graham fan,
Yeah.
and like I think this moved up my list because of all the like respect and love he's getting for this, and also the young actor. He was great as well.
Yeah.
Um, I think the whole just them in the van and the paint, like all that stuff, it just shows his range. He was on that Off Menu podcast I like.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The three of them, like him and James Acaster together, is pretty great.
I bet that sounds like a good time.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with like that team because I know also Steve Graham like had like behind the scenes credit of that too. Like he was very involved with that whole show.
I think he wrote it or he co-wrote it.
I
Yeah.
thought I didn't want to say that because in case I was wrong, but that's what I thought. It was like he was, and I mean, from what I know about him, he's a guy who grew up, in like not a super rich area, tough kid. So I think him kind of extrapolating his experience into a modern experience was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I think he's also co with Jack Thorne, who I just know did the Cursed Child play.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking up, Jack Thorne, and what else he was involved with. He did the Cursed Child, really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I didn't know that. But I mean, yeah, it makes you very interested to see where they'll go next and what kind of story. Because obviously they're not going to be able to do another season of this. I mean, I don't think anybody wants that. You
Right.
know, the story's told, it's done, it's all over. But he's got a knack. And he did great at acting. Like I said, it just it had you were talking about that fourth episode. I mean, even in the first episode when he's kind of like trying to be there for his son, and he's like, I don't know why he picked me like to be his like what do they call him not his observer but like his like, and it's not like their supporter, but they give him like a very specific name like. Or is like it's something that's like a legal guardian. But
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, this is when I watched like when it dropped, and then it did kind of it like left the ether, and then when awards kind of came in, the conversations around it kind of trickled back in.
yeah, I think things get kind of goofed up though with TV, especially because the Emmys are like middle of like the year or late like fall, and then you have the Golden Globes, which are January.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, well, didn't all this already happen? Like, I feel like Severance was always felt like, okay, what season are we not acknowledging now? Or The Bear, it's like that too. I feel like we're always constantly like in between where those are. But yeah, Adolescence was a pleasant surprise, considering the subject matter. But I really thought it was really well done. So
No, it was definitely like emotional, but I didn't feel like traumatized by it. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
they do a good job of not telling and not showing
Mhm.
too much, which I know is usually not what you want to do. But I think in this situation, considering how delicate it is and considering the ages of the characters involved, you don't necessarily want to see, child violence, right? So it's like, okay, we can extrapolate from people's points of view and what they're telling us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I fully agree with you though. Well, you said that was your number.
Yeah, that was like
3.
a shared pick.
Okay, so I'm like, should I go again then?
Sure.
Okay. Well, then I will pull up my next one. And this is the one that I really had a tough time with because I wanted to put something else up here too. I just enjoyed the shit out of this show. And I feel like it also got a ton of awards. So we're going back to Apple TV. You want to take a guess?
Is it Pluribus?
No.
The studio?
Studio.
Oh, shit.
Do you have the studio?
I got
on
the
your list?
studio on here too.
Oh god dang it, really? Which one is that for you?
Oh, remember my list is
There's no order.
there's no order.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the studio. Why don't you lead us off this time though?
It's just I was just happy to have Seth and Evan back together again in whatever format. I was kind of meh when I heard what the premise was, because I was just like, like I'm not a big. I've never seen The Player. I'm not like I like Hail Caesar, but like I'm not a big like the studio behind the scenes. Like we're making the movies, even though I like the movies.
Sure.
And I liked the character Seth Rogen plays because, he likes the movies. And I didn't know I was also going to be treated for a similar ride to like Adolescence, where I was going to have like this kind of one shot
Yeah.
intensity, high, high energy. I got to laugh a lot. And then there was just like I love when they have people that they know play themselves in shittier ways, kind of like in This Is the End.
Yeah.
They got to kind of do that humor again. And I think when those two make a movie together, there really hasn't been a bad one.
Yeah.
There's ones that haven't done as well. Like I think like Long Shot, which I like a lot. But when I finally did watch it, I enjoyed every single one. And it's hard to find TV nowadays that was that funny.
Yeah.
And it was extremely funny, and it was great to see all those faces. Love some Dave Franco.
I was like, yeah, I was actually going to dig in with you. Like, who are some of the people that you really liked? I mean, not to give away any of your performance picks ahead of time here, but like Zoe Kravitz, I think definitely
Mhm.
was a surprise.
I like Paul Dano for his little bit that he had.
Oh, yep.
Mhm.
Or was it Efron who had like the party that they weren't inviting Seth Rogen to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I wouldn't say he would be a highlight, but I did enjoy just that interaction where you kind of imagine he would be a guy who kind of hold it.
Yeah, as a podcast fan, they had was it Ryan Russillo from God, what is that podcast called? He's got like the big entertainment podcast. He's kind of like the Deadline of podcasts.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Though.
But yeah, he's the guy who they're like running into in Las Vegas when Walter White's struggling.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh. Cranston. I mean, we have to there's a lot of veterans in this show that are doing good. I mean, and I'm not going to tip my hand because maybe one or two might come up when we talk performances, but
Mhm.
I'll say for now, at least Cranston definitely, he was showing off his comedic chops again. It was good to see him kind of getting back to his roots and just acting like a total weirdo, even though he's supposed to be a studio head. And you kind of buy it. Like I was telling you before we even started recording, I just came back from Los Angeles. And when you see some of these people around at I didn't see like anybody like big name producers. I mean, I wouldn't be able to recognize them necessarily, but just seeing people out in the open and at restaurants and the way that they kind of like go about their day, you're like, oh, there's just something a little, they're in their own little world. That's the way I'd say it.
Mhm.
So it's very flighty, but yeah, very funny show. And yeah, we just don't have enough comedy right now.
Ron Howard.
Ron Howard doing just, I feel like anytime he plays himself, it's always a great ad.
Oh, yeah.
Other than the narrator in Arrested Development, which I guess he's
Mhm.
just the narrator.
But he's good when he plays himself in Arrested Development too.
Yeah, that's true. But also when he plays himself in The Simpsons is the other one. It's the other. What else does he play himself in? Or is those kind of the two?
That's all I can think of.
That might be all we need.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the studio was. Yeah, I don't know, and got to thank Sal Saperstein obviously for this episode because
Yeah. I can't think of his name now. He's gonna play Elon Musk though in a movie.
Oh, Ike Barinholtz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when he was on Eastbound and Down as like the Russian baseball player. That was like my first introduction to him, and then he's always been good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very most of his lines in movies you can tell are improvised.
Yeah. Because he's kind of got that vibe about him where he just seems like he just shoots from the hip a little bit.
Yes.
I think the role that really caught my eye with him for some reason was in Blockers, which is a movie that aged well with me for some reason, or stuck with me. Just because him, Cena, and then like Leslie Mann, like having like their own kind of chance. And it's like people you wouldn't have given a spotlight to, I feel like otherwise.
All right.
So very, very fun. Well, I guess I'll keep going down. The list here.
Yeah. What you got?
So I'll get to my number 2 pick then, which was another HBO show, Hacks season 4. I've talked about Hacks, I think maybe every year now, and the thing's still throwing fastballs. Talk about comedies on TV. This show is very funny. And this was a very interesting season because it was all about them making a Tonight Show. And so like you always want to see like what would that writer's room look like? How do they build like the show out and everything? And so you're just kind of along for this ride. And you almost forget where the show started, where it's like it's just them kind of like circumstantially coming together, kind of tail end of their career, or like kind of both crashing out in their careers a little bit or nowhere to go. And so they start building this thing together. And now they land at like kind of at odds with one another, but still going after this huge event and like something that seems so big for the lead character's career. And Jean Smart is just still, like I said, she's throwing heaters this whole season. She's just gravitating, and it's amazing. Have you caught any of Hacks yet?
I have not watched Hacks.
That's going to be, I think, one of those shows where I think when you finally get to it at some point, you're gonna be pretty
most comedies I build up till they're done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it said, I don't know if they're going beyond one more season. I think that might be it. And that might be just perfect because they've had 4 very good seasons, like very few low points, very few dull points. There's always forward trajectory. There's always good conflict that creates a lot of good humor and good tension. Even though I know Hannah Einbinder now coming out that she's another Nepo, but she's one of those good ones. She's kind of a Jack Quaid of sorts in that regard. Which, if you forgot, it's Lorraine Newman's daughter. I'm sorry, Lorraine Newman.
There you go.
I gotta pay respect to the OG.
Oh, I didn't know what that voice was, but I liked it.
I mean, it's playing with a little bit
Okay.
of, little Godfather or something. I think like Sopranos has kind of been in my brain recently too. Because we started watching, speaking about TV that came out this year that is not going to make my list, but have you watched any of Wonder Man yet?
I have not, no.
Well, there's an episode where he runs into Joey Pants, and it's just a hilarious moment of like, this is a Marvel show, but it also feels very the studio. And actually, it feels more like the studio than any Marvel show. Like, it's just them making the movies.
I like that guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Abdul Mateen.
Mm-hmm.
He's good. You get a lot of Ben Kingsley, though, and let him cook.
Okay.
He's doing
I like
good.
him.
I would say it's surprised me how much it is not an MCU show, and it's not just, oh, it's fun. It's like, no, there's some shit here. Like they're doing something way different than like even Daredevil or anything. So
Okay.
check it out. You see for yourself.
Fun?
It's more than fun. It's good.
Okay.
It's good. But yeah. I was like, where was I going with this? Joey Pants. Giving me the Sopranos vibes, because I had to look it up then. He did win an Emmy for Sopranos. That's his only Emmy win.
Yeah, it's a heavy part there.
It's good though.
Yeah, we had at the theater, they had their Secret Santa.
Mm-hmm.
And my gift for Secret Santa, I wanted to get season 1 on DVD because I figured I could go to like Media Exchange. I was going to get the whole series.
Yeah.
But they were like $10 a pop. And I'm like, that's too much for, there was a limit. So I went to a few different ones. I could not find season 1. I found like 2, 3, all the other ones. And eventually I had season 2 in my hand. I'm like, okay, I guess it's still like a bit. But I did like the idea of it being functional bit, where if someone hadn't watched The Sopranos, they could pop in the discs, get started. So when I was going to check out behind the counter, they were like, oh, well, we also have these, and they have these huge collections. I'm like, those must be the whole show. Again, that's probably going to be pricey. they were seasons 1 and season 2 on VHS.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I was like, I actually will take season 1 on VHS. So I put that in, and I went to Grappi's. I got like expensive pasta, like expensive sauce that was from New Jersey,
Yeah.
and some like the dried breadsticks, but like from Italy.
Oh, man.
And I packed all that stuff on top, and Josh Randall ended up with that.
Oh,
He was pretty happy.
I mean, as we have learned, an Italian in his nature, he showed me his 23andMe the other day, and I was like, "Oh, okay, so you got some Italy in you."
But that VHS case is nice looking. You know, it comes in a little box. You pull it out. It's got 5 VHSs.
Oh man, that's awesome. So it was a good purchase.
Yeah, and like it was $3. Like that's why I had to get so much better shit. Like I was like, well, this is only $3, so I bought like the nicest sauce and pasta I could find because I was like, all right, I need to get up to the limit now.
Yeah. Oh my god, though, that's a great gift. I love the idea of it. Anyway, that's for Sopranos, which is not a show I watched last year. What's that?
I was just saying we could have used a little extra time on this one. It looked like.
Oh yeah, well we still got a little ways to go.
I was just adding a little extra.
Yeah, it's good. Some good pepper on top of this steak that we got cooking right now. I guess so. I just put my number 2. Are we down to number 1 already?
Yeah, because we had two kind of crossovers.
Do you have any honorable mentions you want to give before you give your last pick?
I have 2,
Okay.
and one I might talk about in a later section.
Okay.
That was kind of my cake and eat it too, but I will say my like 6 and 7 and a 7 that I still haven't finished yet, but I liked, so I didn't count it, was I watched about half of The Lowdown.
Oh.
I like it a lot. I really like is it Sterling Harjo is his name?
Yes.
I really like his stuff, everything I've seen. It was just another like I fell off, and now I'm gonna have to rewatch everything. But I mean, you got Gene Triplehorn,
Yeah.
you got Tracy Letts, you've got there's a bunch of people in that. My guy, that was my Carmex.
Oh. That's funny.
I can't think of his name from The Thing.
Kyle
No.
MacLachlan?
Well,
No.
Kyle MacLachlan we love, but also from They Live, The Thing.
Keith David.
Yeah, I couldn't think of Keith David. 2 first names.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's just too easy to remember.
Mhm. But this is a show very much like my other honorable mention, which I love any show that says this is where we're taking place in this city, this town, and you're gonna like breathe it in. We're gonna have like local flair to it. We're gonna like have people lean into the dialect, but we're also gonna feel like the cultural weight of the area.
Yeah.
And the show is also kind of a companion piece in my head to Killers of the Flower Moon, you know, to like in Oklahoma, I believe, and like similar-ish areas, kind of about similar things. But this one's kind of a more lighthearted noir. Kind of the stuff it's like the Killers of the Flower Moon, that stuff's in the backdrop of this story.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm excited to finish it, but I'm only having it as honorable mention because I didn't finish it.
Yeah, I gotcha.
The other one I was going to throw out, which had a lot of heat for me, but then kind of subsided for me, was Task.
Oh, yeah.
And I still liked it a lot. It's just, it wasn't top 5. It is probably like 6 or 7 for me, though. This is another one that Brad Inglesby is the creator, and he made Mayor of Easttown, is really good about like this place, this takes here. Everyone's going to do the voice, and we're going to have local like references, and it's going to feel lived in.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I loved about that show. Plus the performances, I just kind of lost the plot a little bit with it.
Yeah, that was where I kept struggling. I actually still haven't finished Task because I feel like we would drop in. I would try and remember what was happening. And I'm like, I feel like I almost have to start from the top and do this again because I just felt like I was losing the plot. I was losing a little bit of like, who's who again? What's this guy's name? And I hate that feeling when you're spending more time trying to remember what the thing was about. It's like it's a show you almost just like it needs to be like Sopranos, where it's like you pop it in, pull out some dinner, you're like eating and you're just like watching, you're really intently picking up on all the pieces because it was really well acted. But I hear you. I also had the lowdown, and this is maybe going to be a have your cake and eat it too type situation where it was that or Severance season 2 for me that was going to be the number 5 because I love the lowdown. I thought it was really good, but I will have more of a chance to talk about what I really loved about the lowdown later. But yeah, that was definitely my number one like honorable mention that I wanted to bring up. So I'm glad you brought it up. The other thing I wanted to bring up too was Alien Earth was another show I really liked. I love Noah Hawley stuff. I just liked that vibe of being back like in the alien world where they're doing some interesting things, and it felt like it was an alien show that wasn't about the aliens, and that's the first time we've really done that. Even like Prometheus felt like a long burn to like explaining how the xenomorphs got to be. So the fact that we got more about the people or like the cyborgs or the androids and all that, like that was really interesting to me. Did you watch all of Alien Earth?
Yes.
Okay.
And that was another that was a close call for me for being in my top 5 as well.
Gotcha. The other one I wanted to call out because I haven't finished it yet because it's not over yet and it's not, so it doesn't really qualify, was A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which just started this past month. And just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
I don't know. I've only seen 3 30-minute episodes, so I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, but I do like it.
You vibing with it though?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. That's just something I might be talking about further next year. I'll say that. We'll see. We'll see how it ends. But my number one.
Actual number 1.
Oh, wait, no. It's your turn.
Yeah.
Number 1.
So this is more of a, I'm surprised this worked so much. It's not even my favorite show, but I'm giving it, even though I'm not ranking it, I'm giving it number 1 spot because I was like, oh, this wasn't a piece of shit. I'm going to give it to Welcome to Derry.
Oh, wow.
A show that I was like, I love Stephen King stuff. I love scary stuff. These kind of shows never are that good, but you know, I'm going to go back because it's stuff I like. And it exceeded my expectations. And there's a lot of times these Stephen King adaptations will pick up Dark Tower stuff and start playing with it. Yeah. And I'm like, don't pick that up. You don't know how to play it. You're not old enough. You don't know how to play with it. You know, they kind of just use it. This is the first one where they're like circling stuff, and it is a little fanficky, but it doesn't feel like ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
Like it kind of checks out most of the stuff they're doing and the things they're alluding to in the bigger Kingiverse. I mean, there's like just the outline of the situation Pennywise has around him in the woods just remind me very much of Dark Tower and like the circles of the beam and stuff like that. And I know that was the point of it, that it was supposed to look like that. We've got the turtle in there.
Yeah.
I also thought the scares in it actually were like kind of freaky. Like the first episode is very intense and very good, I thought. And the creature, don't love the machete creature CG, but he does have some interesting like creature stuff in it that works for me.
Yeah. I agree with you. This actually was another honorable mention for me that I did not list because I was waiting to see if maybe you were going to say it, and you did.
Yeah, and I love one of my favorite chapters. They don't do like the scene from the book, but in the chapter of it is there's a chapter about the Black Spot, which is that bar that the it's like, are they in the army? Some military where they can go and have a drink because they're black, and they don't get to go into Derry because Derry is racist as shit because it's got a giant evil behind it, you know, which is kind of the whole it thing.
Right.
And just like that's kind of an example of how it's using the book that's huge. They made 2 movies and there's still a lot of like creepy Pennywise it stuff that you can pull out. Like there's flashbacks to, you know, and they do this in the Welcome to Derry show where you're going back to like 1600s, and it does all that in the big It book.
Yeah.
This show cherry picks some of that stuff, but also tells its own story. And it does connect to the movies and the books in a way that's kind of new and interesting. And I enjoyed it.
Yeah. It was a pleasant surprise. I'll agree with you on that front because I really wasn't sure what to expect when you're like, we're going to do an It prequel. but I think it captured that 60s vibe that reminded me a lot of the 90s made for TV movie. Because right in the book, does take place in the 60s at first.
It's 50s and 80s in the book.
Okay.
And it's 80s in today in the Muschietti remakes.
Yes, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
So this felt like more of a throwback, though, at least to that era, because you had like people wearing like the jeans, they had like the greaser like jackets and haircuts, like the bad guy or the bullies did, and so I appreciated that we kind of were going back to this era a little bit, where things seemed a little more simple and it was a little more like word of mouth versus like even in the 80s where it feels like, oh, you can just I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
check things out like your local like spot, and I don't know.
And because there is so much, even not just in the It book, there's so much dairy like stuff that Stephen King has written that they can pull from. And I think the plan is like multiple seasons, but it wouldn't pick up. It's not going to be picking up from these characters. It's going to time jump the like every so years that the It cycle happens again. And like, I think once the next season could be happening before this season,
Yeah.
but like by 18 years, or it could go ahead. Like, so I think that's interesting that it's whole new stories, same setting. That's the way to go if they want to make more.
Well, we
they
even
are.
get introduced to a group of characters that look like they had encountered something like this before, right? It's like the Native American group that's
Mhm.
involved there. And again, you kind of mentioned that vibes of like Killer of the Flower Moon. This almost kind of reminded me of that too. Of like here you have a lot of people who it's like, yeah, they have been here, they've known about this force, and it's like this idea that like, yeah, Native Americans knew this land, and then white settlers just came and they're like, oh fuck this shit, we're just gonna blow everything up, or like like ruin everything. And it's like, okay, you guys are messing with an ecosystem that was like very delicate balance. It was very common, like good commentary on like reality. So yeah, very much appreciated it. Very good storytelling. You're not gonna be too surprised by number one. So that was another HBO show you just did. I'm going back to Apple TV. You already know what I'm talking about. It's gonna be Pluribus. I loved this show. I thought it was so, I don't know, just a really good commentary on people. I mean, I don't even know how much of the premise I want to get into if people haven't watched it yet. Because have you watched all of it?
No, I started it.
And that's been it so far.
Yes, I'm gonna watch it.
All right. Well, then I'll keep quiet about a lot of like turns and twists, but I mean, it's a very interesting premise. It's not what you think it's going to be when it gets started. Did you watch the first episode?
Yes,
Okay.
not all of it, but most of it.
Okay.
It's very like if Twilight Zone was made by Vince Gilligan.
Yes.
That's kind of what it feels like. So it's methodical and character driven, but it does have that kind of like throwback sci-fi feel to it.
It does kind of seem to be calling back to like his X-Files roots a little bit.
Mhm.
I'll say that. Because obviously there is a very big sci-fi element to it, which I think would scare off some people, especially if you're expecting Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. It's not those shows, but it also is in the way that it's made, and it takes place in New Mexico. So you kind of feel like you're back in that setting, but like,
Area 51.
yeah, it's true. And it's just, it does so much in the things that it doesn't say. Again, you know how I was saying earlier, like, oh, adolescence does such a good job with tell, not show. This is completely the opposite. It's very much show, not tell.
Mhm.
And that's when film, TV, visual
TV.
media gets good. The TV, the television,
The TV
but yeah, I mean, I don't want to give away too much. I don't want to give away too much of the reveals, but just knowing that there's a big sci-fi element that's kind of tying together everybody in the world except for a select few people, and you're led by Ray Seahorn, who was the very unsung hero of Better Call Saul. It really felt like Vince Gilligan was kind of on a mission here of like, they didn't recognize you for really good work. Let me make something for you where you are front and center and people can realize how good you are. And she is excellent in this. If that might be a small transition to our performances, because that might be one I'll probably be talking about. But
You want to do performances and then throwback?
I mean, we could maybe just jump to throwback. I'll just kind of put a pin in
Okay.
Ray Seahorn for now. But really, I mean, it's just I think it's the most accessible sci-fi show that I've seen because I think Vince Gilligan just knows how to tie so many different themes together. Things that feel weird, things that feel a little scary, funny, dramatic, tense, everything. He just can really balance so much of that stuff. And Pluribus is worth an Apple TV Plus subscription. I think people are going to come out. It might not be for everyone. I'll say that. If it doesn't hook you, I get it because it is weird, but it's very entertaining. And if you just enjoy just kind of meditating, you like a show that you're going to put your phone down, I think it's going to be one of those.
I like it.
That's all I have to say about that. But
Forrest Gump.
yeah, which is not a TV show, but maybe it should have been.
That'd be good.
Because isn't there a whole aspect of that book where he goes to space?
That's the sequel.
Oh, really?
He goes to space in the sequel, I believe.
Did you read them?
No, I just know they exist.
Oh.
The second one's crazy. I know that.
I feel like we could have a whole episode about Forrest Gump. What I was going to say before I forget, got to do an It episode now, I think. Because now that is indeed a giant franchise. We got
It.
Yep. Book, 2 different adaptations of the book, and now a prequel series. It's like, I think maybe we'll wait to see where it goes in the next year or two, but we should definitely do one.
Very unhinged Steven Weber audiobook.
Yeah. Is there really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. Next road trip, maybe that I do, whenever the hell that's going to be.
Yeah. I think your companion would love that.
Oh, yes. I think anytime she can get me to listen to an audiobook or read a book, it'll be good. But yeah, I guess that's our top 5 shows for this year, plus a couple honorable mentions. But we don't just talk about the top shows. I guess I didn't even really tee up the structure. I was just like, let's just dive in.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with it being a little loose.
Show, not tell. That's the whole point of this episode. That's what we've been talking about, right? So let's move on to our next one. We're going to do our favorite show that did not come out in 2025 that you watched last year.
All right. I will go first, I decided.
Okay, great.
So I'm actually still currently going through this, and it's a little bit of a cheat. It's a show we've all seen, probably all seen multiple times, but there's a new way to watch it, and it's quite enjoyable. I've been enjoying a show I never thought I'd roll back for another 10 years, probably.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. A little bit of The Office.
Oh.
And I loved The Office. I watched it when it was coming out. I kind of got oversaturated with Office fandom.
Yeah.
So many dumb t-shirts,
Yeah.
But I kind of got caught into watching on Peacock, a station or a streaming service we haven't mentioned. I knew they had these things called the Superfan episodes. And originally I assumed it was okay, they're just going to stick some deleted scenes in. And there is a little bit of that, but they now have the Superfan episodes for every episode 1 through 9. And the run times are now 20 minutes to instead of 21 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes. There's a good 10 minutes. Some are a little short, but most of them have another 10 minutes added. And it's not just added jokes and bits. It's layering context and character stuff in a way that I actually found very interesting. I couldn't think of any specific examples off the top of my head, but there are certain things, relationships, dynamics in the show that are kind of made a lot clearer. There's a lot more business shoe leather in it, which is actually I kind of found slightly interesting, the transitions that Dunder Mifflin goes through throughout the show. There is just more of it, and they did it for every episode of the whole show. So I thought this was a good time to go through, and I've actually really enjoyed it. I haven't found it boring because I always assumed I've seen these so many times, I'm kind of over it.
Yeah.
But I'm really enjoying this, something I never thought I would enjoy.
So is it extra footage that they had that they've now put into the episodes.
Yep, and it's cohesive. Like every once in a while, it feels a bit like deleted scene shoved in, but mostly it just feels like a chunkier episode.
Interesting.
It's like a comedy today, which are like 30 minutes, you know? Like,
Yeah. I didn't realize though that they even did that. I just knew that they were doing something called a super fan episode. I didn't know what it was all
if
about. Though.
you're an Office fan, and even if you're like, oh well, I don't know if I want to rewatch, but you are playing with the idea of the rewatch, I think it's worth it.
Okay.
And like I said, I was like, I kind of like that part of my life's over, but going through, I've quite enjoyed it.
Hey, I mean, nothing wrong with going back and enjoying an old friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did love The Office when it first came out, and then I watched it all the way through to the end. I might have skipped a season or two, maybe in the middle there when it got kind of like a little long in the tooth. But I'd be interesting to go back at some point. I don't know, I'll be rushing to do it, but I'm excited to hear that there's actually a different way to enjoy it now that's on Peacock, and I do have Peacock, so I'm happy to hear that. It is also funny that the Office theme when you're singing it sounded a little like the ET theme.
It
And I
does.
was like,
The ET show.
I was like, ET? That's why I was kind of giving you a perplexed look at first, like, what are you saying? And then it made sense when you said it. So The Office, interesting though. Good pick. Good pick. I was like remembering what did I picked, and I do have mine. I went with The Golden Girls, a show I never watched as a child. A show I had very little exposure to other than just kind of knowing about it. But we were looking for, my wife and I enjoy a nice little like nighttime kind of wind down show, something that's maybe not brainless, but you know what I mean? You don't want to pop on an episode of whatever, like The Severance or something at like 9:00, right? It's like, okay, just a little treat before bed, something. So why not spend it with our good friends Blanche and Dorothy? And it's been fun. It's kind of funny. A little nod to Pluribus actually, because that's also kind of her like whatever you want to call it, like her like background show or like her like comfort show is throwing on Golden Girls, and that's kind of what she does at some point in it. But it just I find that the writing is always interesting in old sitcoms. All the humor does not age well, but I think still it's interesting to see a show where they gave a highlight to, and we talked a little bit about it on the Real Housewives episode, right? Women of a certain age who never really had, I think, just a show about them that wasn't necessarily about their husbands or their families or whatever. It's just like, no, they're just single gals in Florida for whatever reason, and they go and they date people, or they go when they on vacation, or they explore their relationships with each other. And I think it's fun. And Betty White was a treasure. And I really realized now, like, oh, this is why she was so beloved. She was hilarious.
Did you get to the Don Cheadle episode yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Which I'm kind of surprised we haven't yet. That must be really late because we're pretty far into the series.
Well, Mitch Hurwitz was a writer too for a while on Golden Girls.
He was, yeah.
I know that's cut his teeth there before making Arrested.
Which that kind of makes sense with some of the humor that they have. But they had a lot. They do have a lot of surprising cameos. Like Cesar Romero was like a recent cameo on there, or just a guest appearance, and he was even in his old age, he was a big dude, a tall dude. Very surprising, but interesting to see people like that in their old age. When I remember him as like the Joker in the '60s Batman series, and I'm like, oh, here's this guy now at kind of the end of his career, like a younger Dick Van Dyke who's somehow still alive, 100 years young. Keep going, Dick. But yeah, Golden Girls, a lot of fun. Should we talk a little bit then about some of our favorite performances?
Sure.
So we'll do a couple performances, and we will not dissect them by gender, but more just about our two favorite lead roles and our two favorite supporting roles, because obviously gender identity can take a lot of different forms, right? So pick any that intrigued you, and I think we can kind of switch off going with our leads and then our supporting. Who did you have for, or I don't know. Do we even want to do lead and supporting, or just our four favorite?
I just got four
performances?
people here.
All right. Well, then let's
Four
hear it.
nice actors.
Then go for it.
All right. I went with the lead of Task because I didn't have Task on my top 5. So, and I think acting noms is where it should be anyway. I have Tom Pelphrey, the lead. Great accent, great intensity, but also great softness. Likable doofus.
He was the.
And he was in Ozark. He was very good too.
I actually never finished Ozark. I only watched the first few episodes. He's the uncle though.
Yes.
Okay, just
Mhm.
wanted to make sure I was like putting the right guy. That guy was very good in that series. One day I'll go back to it.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay.
Did you watch Mayor of Easttown?
No, I have not.
I think I like Mayor of Easttown better, and I love me some Kate Winslet.
Oh, I love me some Kate Winslet too. I feel like I haven't gotten enough of her recently. What was the last movie she was in?
Avatar, Fire and Ash.
Oh yeah.
She's doing okay, Tom.
I guess she's getting her paychecks. That's true. But it was a good performance.
Yeah.
I like that in Task. I'll just talk about it very briefly again. Ray Seahorn. She was so excellent in Pluribus. She won an Emmy, won a Golden Globe. She deserved it. Or she won a Golden Globe. Did she win an Emmy too? I can't remember.
She won some awards.
She was very deserving though. The whole show kind of relies on her. She's kind of your lead person, and she is like the person in the show. And she goes through all the emotions. She plays them all very well. You aren't necessarily like she's the hero. She plays kind of not an unlikable character, but somebody that you're not just like fully on board with. I think like many Vince Gilligan characters, she plays somebody who's complicated. You're not just like, this person's altruistic. It's like, they're a little flawed. And you have a tough time rooting for them. But she always brings you back on her side a little bit when she's trying to get something done. And so she's my pick for my first performance.
Nice.
Who was your next one?
I kind of have these into two shows, so I'm just gonna continue with Task. I have Alison Oliver, who's a smaller role. She's part of the Task. She is the hot mess. I think her name is Lizzie,
Yeah.
an Irish actress. Just nailing the Pennsylvania accent. Just being kind of this ball of mess, but also good at their job, but also like having pathos and emotion. I think that I don't know if you got far enough to see the scene with her and Sir Christian in the bar together.
Yep, I did see that one.
That's like probably one of the best scenes of the show. It's just like I almost want to share it between both of them because I think both of them are very good and have great chemistry. I'm always just impressed when people from across the pond nail like such a specific accent.
And he's English too, right? Or he's some kind of Brit or UK.
Is he?
I think so.
I thought he was not, but maybe he is.
I will find him. 'Cause
And if
I know
he
his name is not Sir Christian Cole. That's his.
Sir Christian Cole is English. I thought you were talking about the lead guy.
Oh, no. I was talking about the guy who played Sir Christian Cole.
But I'll round it out that I didn't know. Do you know who the main guy is married to?
No.
Kaylee Coco.
Really?
Yes.
In real life, huh?
In IRL.
Wow.
Interesting. Yeah. I thought the acting was kind of what was the best. The girl from Coda playing the daughter of his brother who had been killed.
Yeah.
She's great in it. Yeah. So those are the two I have from Task.
Those are good picks though too, because they were probably the two standouts from the show. My second pick, I'm gonna go back to the studio for this one. And I'm gonna go with Catherine Hahn. And I just felt like of all the performances on that show, every time she stepped on screen, she was doing something funny. She was wearing something ridiculous, and she just brought an energy that show needed. It reminded me, I think, of why WandaVision and like Agatha Long worked really well too. And it's like, oh yeah, Catherine Hahn's just a really good actress, and she's just a great supporting player. She never, I think, is out to steal the spotlight, but she just does because she's just that good. You know, she's sort of like what do you want to call it? In football, it'd be like your offensive lineman, you know, somebody who gets the job done.
Very similar to a Rob Riggle, who's built like an offensive lineman.
That's true.
They're both just people who like kick into a room and are like the highest pitch and like super funny.
Yeah.
You know, you want them to pop up in your movie.
Yeah. But her, especially being the PR person in the episode where they are having trouble with the casting of the Kool-Aid Man movie because they don't think it's diverse enough, is just, that's chef's kiss. Just really, really good stuff right there. I'll throw it back to you.
All right. I pulled from Welcome to Derry, even though I did have that in my list. I had Chris Chalk, who plays young Dick O'Halloran.
Oh, yeah.
I thought this guy is a guy who I've seen in movies and other stuff before, and he's always has kind of like this unsettling vibe to him.
Mm-hmm.
But he also, again, that's I think has been something that I guess I identify as people who can have that balance, but also have like empathy in their acting, and he kind of has both.
Yeah.
I thought also his character, he's playing someone who's been has been played by other people before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's doing his own thing, but I could see the Dick we know from The Shining, this guy becoming that guy.
Yes.
Even though these two guys next to each other have almost seemingly different personalities.
Right. But I think that's what almost works about that character too, is that he seems a little more young and fiery here, and then Scatman Crothers' interpretation is a little more meditative, a little more refined, a little more just sort of tired of it all, and kind of he's been through it.
I mean, the best Halloran in my book is still, even though it's just a little bit, is the guy who plays him in Doctor Sleep.
Oh,
like if I'm comparing to like book and like performance, like he is just that little like bit on the bench. He's amazing.
I think I need to watch Doctor Sleep again.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Got Cliff Curtis.
Yep. But you also have what's her name?
Rose the Hat.
Yeah, Rebecca
Ferguson.
Yeah. She's just so good. Yeah, that's a good pick though. I like him. So I actually realized I did not pick another lead actor. So it's a good thing we're just sort of throwing out performances.
Do you want me to just throw out my last one, then you can think, or do you got one in the chamber?
No, I got one. But yeah, it's definitely not a lead role on this show. But going back to Alien Earth, the character of Morrow is played by Babu Sise, I believe is how you say his name. He's basically the cyborg that's in the mix, who's kind of trying to like let all hell break loose in this lab. And he just plays a really good antagonist, and he's just very gravitating. He just kind of like, anytime he's on screen, you're kind of like, what is this guy going to be up to? He's sort of menacing, but in a very cool and calm way. And it just was like, when you have a lot of other people who are doing big things on this show, like Timothy Oliphant, who you always kind of have. I love Oliphant doing some different stuff in this show. He was almost my pick, but I was like, this other guy was
Too handsome.
Yeah, he's just, plus that bleach blonde hair. He was giving me Sting vibes from.
I just got to him in The Office.
Oh man,
I forgot he was in it.
I didn't even remember that either. Who is he? One of the managers?
No, he is a salesperson from another company who dated Pam for a little bit.
Oh man, so he's kind of playing his character from like Girl Next Door a little bit, just like the sleaze.
But like nice guy sleaze. Like he's a sleazy asshole, but he's got the nice guy vibe. Where the other guy's like more intense. I feel.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Very intense. But yeah. This dude on Alien Earth. Plus, he's very cool because he's like a person who's enhanced by cybernetics instead of being like any of the other things where he's just pure robot or like a robot with a human conscience. So I was like,
And I know a lot of people like were saying this, and at first I was like, well, are you just saying it because he's like the black guy in it? But after watching him and watching Homicide: Life on the Street, he is very much like acting like Yaphet Kotto, like similar acting vibes and presence.
100%. And he's just, it was a guy I'd never encountered before. I was looking at his catalog. I'm like, I don't think I've seen any of these other shows or movies, but I'm looking forward to seeing more of him.
Yeah. Make him a Bond villain.
He'd be really good. We got another Bond potentially coming, but we don't know who's going to be. What's your next pick, though, for your performance?
So I'm just putting this out as a face card, and I don't mean that in an attractive way, although this person is very attractive. I just mean like, you know, there's people who act and you see them and you're like, you're meant to be on the screen. And that would be Taylor Page, who plays Mike Hanlon's mom in Welcome to Derry. Kind of one of the main characters, because it's kind of different couple of main characters. She's the one who's like stopping the kid getting beat up in the street. She's the one that, you know, she used to be like a freedom rider, but now she's living in this like, you know, Derry town with this evil. And I just thought this was a very great performance for not having a lot to do, but every time like they're on the screen, I'm like looking at them because they're very vibrant looking, and you're kind of also, they're new to Derry, we're new to the show, so we're kind of like, that's our into the show.
Yeah, and she is very good in that show. Did you ever see Zola?
No.
Oh, that's a trip. That was the first thing I think I saw her in, and she's just she brings it. She's another person you're just like, holy shit, like who is this person? And yes, I think on top of being attractive, she is a very good actress.
Right, but I do feel there's just people, there's actors and actors like they're just have great faces for acting.
Yep.
And she's one of them.
Yeah, and you can just see her kind of fitting into a lot of different molds. Like she looks like somebody who could be living in the 1960s. She's got that kind of face, but also it's like if you see her in a modern day role, it doesn't throw her off. She was also in did you ever see Ma Rainey's Black Bottom?
I did.
Yeah,
She was in that. Okay.
Yeah, and that was also another thing. I'm like, wasn't that like the 1920s, 1930s or something like that? And
Do they call it phone face? What do they call it when it's like screen something where it's like that person's have seen a screen before?
I don't know what that word is. Yeah, but I feel like I understand what the term's trying
I
to
feel like as talented as they are, Zoe Kravitz, I don't know if I believe her in a previous time. Has she done a period piece?
Not that I can think of.
She seems modern to me. There's different actors and actresses where I'm like, you've seen a phone before.
Yeah, right. Jack Houston, I think, is like the one guy I can think of. Looks like, I think because I used Boardwalk Empire, it's the first thing I saw him in. Or Nick Offerman is another dude who looks like, especially, and I didn't even bring this one up. Death by Lightning. That was another honorable mention from last year. He was good in that, but what's his nuts from Severance he was the good stuff. Guy who plays Tom on Severance. He's also Mr. Darcy. You know what I'm talking about.
Are you talking about not from Severance, from Succession?
Succession. Yes. Sorry, Succession.
Matthew McFadden?
Yes. Thank you.
That's why I was confused when you said Severance.
Yeah, well, they have similar sounding names.
Yeah, these are all people who can play like all time periods. You're saying? Yes, definitely.
He also has a face.
I'm trying to think of a good guy who does have who's a guy with cell phone face? Because there's definitely ones. I just can't think of anyone.
Cell phone face?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would have said
Timothy Chalamet.
Yes.
But then he looks like he's from like.
But then he does fucking Marty Supreme, and I'm like, God damn it, he looks like such a 60s creep. Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, some will come back to. We'll have a list.
Yeah. Or no, 80 or no. That movie throws me off because it has an 80s soundtrack, but it takes place in the 60s.
Yeah, it's like post World War II, 50s, 60s, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 50s because World War II, or is it even late 40s? I don't know.
It could be late 40s. All I know is World War II's fresh in that movie.
It is, and the Japan dynamic is not lost. But yeah, we'll think of somebody with cell phone face. Somebody who does not have cell phone face. Somebody who I picked for my last performance, and it was a toss up here too because in this show I loved a lot of performances. I'm talking about the lowdown here. I mean, everybody did great. And the one I was going to pick because I really want to shout him out is Tim Blake Nelson because he's another guy who fits into any era or whatever. He actually doesn't even look like he belongs in the modern era. It's like they plucked him out of the 50s and he's just been imported to today. But I'm talking about Peter Dinklage, who I love my guy Peter Dinklage. Hasn't done enough since Game of Thrones ended.
He's doing a lot. He's just not doing a lot of stuff we're seeing.
Yeah, but when he popped up in the lowdown, he has this one-off episode where he and Ethan Hawke are just going and chasing down this lead that he has. Just great TV. Loved that episode. I thought Peter Dinklage knocked it out of the park. Just an awesome supporting role. just he brought everything to the table you needed. It felt like he and Ethan Hawke's character had known each other for years, and you just were spot in the minute he walks on screen. And I love that, like, one of the things I love about Peter Dinklage is, like, obviously he is, not somebody who looks like everybody else. You always are like, it has to be about that, right? And it's not. This episode completely almost ignores his size and just focuses on, like, his personality, the character that he is. And it's like, he just crushed it. I loved him in this show. And I was like, I really want that character to come back into season 2. I need another one-off where he shows up Ethan Hawke like around every turn. And it's just like, let's go. We're going to do this. I've already got this down. I'm going to nail it. And I think that's it for our performances. Although I did want to shout out one thing. She was not my favorite part of the studio, but I'd be remiss if we did not bring up Catherine O'Hara, who just passed away recently, kind of suddenly, it felt like. And she was very good on the studio, though, too. And I'm like, that's a huge loss to just think that's like one of the last things she did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So RIP to a great. And yeah, hopefully she filmed a couple things for the next season. Maybe not, but be fun to see her pop up at least a little bit again before all is said and done. Because, yeah, just an amazing talent that I think a lot of people didn't realize was great until too late in her career. Kind of like, I don't know, like a Rodney Dangerfield, but maybe way better than that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad analog, I feel like, but you get the idea. So,
yeah.
Anything else you want to say about the TV of last year?
I think that's all I gotta say about that. Still enjoying Guys Grocery Games quite a bit.
Guys Grocery Games?
Yeah.
What's that stuff?
That's the Guy Fieri cooking and shopping show where
Oh, man.
they shop the grocery store and they have to cook the food all in the same time.
I didn't even know this was a thing. What is
It
this?
combines supermarket sweep and cooking shows. It's like, you got to make this. They got to go out into the aisles. Sometimes they're like, you can only shop the even aisles, or you have to pick this or this. It's fun.
I imagine it's good. I'm sure at some point we'll probably come across it and it'll be a lot of fun to watch. Apologies also to a lot of reality TV that we didn't honor. Sorry, Salt Lake City, Real House. We talked about you more than you'll ever get talked about on this podcast, probably ever again, but it was a fun episode.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, but Taskmaster was good last year too. The Jason Mantzoukas episode or the season, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I didn't watch the most recent one. Just give me some time.
That's okay.
It came so quick. It felt.
There were 2 different seasons last year. They did a spring and then they did a fall.
Okay.
So I think it's worth evaluating it as a whole.
And now, who's the American?
Camille.
Nice.
Yeah. So that'll be a fun season. If you guys haven't gotten on Taskmaster yet, listen to our episode first and foremost with the great Mike Schwantz, and then go and watch some Taskmaster on YouTube. It's a lot of fun. And I think that gets us to the end of this episode officially. But before we go, Fred, anything you would like to plug?
No, I'm just gonna let you plug away at the pod.
Plug away at the pod. That's all I like to do. If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to rate and review it. We are on. You can find us on Facebook, Blue Sky, Threads, YouTube, Instagram, all those good ones that you love. If you have not yet signed up for our Patreon for just $1 a month, you can get 1 bonus episode per month. Fred, this month we just dropped an episode on our Oscar favorites, kind of in anticipation for an upcoming episode. In fact, I believe it might even be the next episode, which will be on the best movies of 2025.
Yeah.
We're in our award season, folks. Hope you're enjoying it. Lest I forget, shout out to Nick Spitza and Mike Schwantz for opening and closing themes. And yeah, we'll see you next time for Best Movies 2025.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I've got no cares, 'cause all I want to do is charge my phone and drive listening to you. And what they talk about will always be
I was early.